Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, 2 games of already gone final in the association. The 76ers were able to come out on top over the Lakers, 118-104. Lakers lost their back-to-back there. Then in Atlanta, the Rockets were able to pull it out. They won 100-96 in a low-scoring affair. Rockets only scored 18 points in the fourth quarter, but that was enough to get the job done. Your Portland Trail Blazers, they're going to be getting underway any moment, taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. DeAndre Ayton is playing in this game, and he is starting. Right now, the Bucks are favored by 5.5, tip-off at 7. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Your favorite fan show.
Welcome into the hot corner, my friends, for it must be a Tuesday, but I guess it's always a Tuesday around here. Patrick Harris with you, Joe Fisher to my left, and the big fella over there behind the glass, Will Ortner, doing some duty tonight.
Let's go.
That's my Bill Rafferty.
Send it in, big man.
You know, they pass the ball, and then they just give it to the big fella.
Onions.
No one give me onions, please.
You not an onions fan?
I like them on food. I don't like them like an apple.
Oh,
Well, I don't know many that do.
I know a couple that do. I don't know.
Who are you hanging out with? Stanley Yelnats from
Yeah,
Holes? Like,
yeah.
come on.
Unfortunately, I've got
From
some
Holes.
I've got
What a
some weird
throwback.
tasting people, dude.
Shia LaDouche.
I was teaching that book at one point.
My oldest and I,
That's
we
a
read
good
that.
time for
we
students
read that.
and teacher.
My oldest and I, we read that together. She was reading it in school, and so I told her I'd read it with her.
I'm gonna say she's around 6th, 7th grade.
She read it in 4th grade. A lot more educated in
Ooh.
Vancouver School District than whatever your
I'm gonna say I believe in
bum
Rich.
F.
I believe in
middle of
Richfield.
nowhere.
It's you're breaking into holes right before you break into a Christmas Carol. So I,
wanna
think that's
say
6th grade.
It was
Oh, okay. So it's like they learned to read in 6th grade to where my kids learned to read in like 1st grade.
Well, you're acting high and mighty. Which Vancouver school district are you in? Are you going to Bay?
I'm VPD. I went to Bay, so I understand how bad it is. My kid's gonna go to Skyview.
Oh yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. The
That's,
high
that's
end.
top of the,
The
line.
cocaine there is phenomenal.
I would not know.
okay, sure.
I only know that from the kids that I met that went there when I was
Does
there.
Skyview have that really big auditorium?
No idea.
They all do now, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a big one. Yeah.
Bay has a huge gym.
Not familiar
Yeah.
with the
Huge gym. Because
What-
those upper decks
what
that
is
have
the
basketball
Bay?
courts, those can all pull out to bleachers.
Well, and Bay has the best baseball stadium in, I think, the entire area.
Thank you to the propsters.
What is the Bay?
Hudson's Bay.
Oh,
Hudson's Bay Fur Trading Company.
is that their mascot?
No, they're the
fur
Eagles.
traders.
They're the
Oh.
Eagles.
That'd be a cool mascot.
The for Vancouver, they are the Trappers.
They are, yeah.
Which is like a fur
basically,
trader.
yeah, fur trader.
Ridgefield, the potatoes.
Are they really?
Spuds.
Spuds, Ridgefield Spudders.
I don't know anything about.
Middle school or the
Vancouver.
tater tots.
No, that's
The
Union
elementary
Ridge,
school
the elementary school. Do you
is-
know what
is-
they call the preschoolers?
What?
The hash browns.
The hash browns.
Are you serious right now? That's adorable.
Yeah, middle school's dumb. They're like the herons or something.
They're
Like keep with the potatoes. Be the French fries.
2A life, dude.
Yeah, they dropped the
2A
ball
life.
on that. They 100% did.
Will probably spends way too much time on 2A life.
I was at a 2A tryout today.
See,
Hey, but it was for
what
your
is all this
Cougs.
Vancouver
for
talk?
my Cougs,
Your Cougs.
my Cougs are 2A level.
I met your new D-line coach
Actually,
today.
my Cougs are definitely 2A level.
No, I
We
like.
got a 5-star. Came from a 2A school.
I'll tell you what. Right now, I met your new D-line coach and tight end coach.
Are
and
they 8 on 8?
They're 11 on 11. And I'll tell you right now, those guys are some straight shooters. I like them.
Yeah, I like
did like
I like the new regime coming in, but also Wazoo football is dead, so that's cute.
I don't know. He's got a good crew. I liked him. I really did.
Cool.
I'm so confused about everything being talked about right now.
Well, when you find out that Wake Forest is a better job than Wazoo, yeah, we out.
Is it though?
I think so.
I don't know.
It's in a real conference.
That's true.
The ACC
But
is not.
you
The
don't need one of
ACC is
those.
not begging for Tulane to join their conference.
Wake Forest might be the worst football school in that conference.
ACC is not begging for UTSA to join. Grand Canyon in basketball.
I'm looking at a list of ACC
They went to
teams
the
right
tournament.
now. Wake Forest very well might be the worst football school in the ACC.
Cool. They're in the ACC.
Yeah, but so is Cal and Stanford.
So was Vanderbilt for a while, and they beat Alabama.
Be
Well,
nice.
they're
Be nice.
SEC.
I
Be
know.
nice to
I'm just
Cal.
saying they were the worst in their conference.
When was the last good year for Wake Forest? It wasn't too long ago,
Chris
actually.
Paul.
It was like we're changing sports now.
I was gonna say, is that like Jay
Baseball?
Cutler? Is Jake? No, Jay Cutler's Purdue.
Vandy.
Oh, you're right. I knew it was one of those bad schools that's black and like gold.
Smoking Jay Cutler, he went to Vanderbilt. They got the best college basketball stadium, though. It's the elevated court.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So what were you doing? You were mingling with the Wazoo coaches today?
Yeah, you
They're
looking
out
for some
there.
co-eds or
no,
what, dude?
they're hitting the recruiting trail right now. They're out visiting.
Richfield's a hotbed.
Not Richfield. They were in my hometown. They're in
Oh,
Hawkinson.
So
Hawkinson.
how is Will?
All the rich kids live out there now instead of Camas.
How's Will Ortner shoehorning his way into this though?
I wasn't shoehorning my way. It was one
Just
of my
show
my
up?
players.
Your player? What is? Are you an agent all of a sudden?
No, I coach.
You coach what?
I've been coaching the O-line over there for like the last couple of years.
What school?
Hawkinson.
Oh, how about that?
Don't look up the record. Don't do it. Don't be mean
I'm
to me.
doing it.
Don't be mean to me. We won a state title not that long ago.
Well, listen.
He wasn't there, but they did not too long ago.
Those seniors were my sophomores. Without my leadership, what
They
would they have been
never
able to do?
gotten there.
Without me, we won the first playoff game. Without my leadership, what would they have been able to
Oh.
accomplish?
Will, baby. That's a rough 2024, 2025 slate there.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Does it have the scores?
No, I can find that.
Okay, look at the scores. Because
Were
it's the record is a lot worse than what it really was.
Yeah, a lot of one score games, 10 points against Columbia. You're losing to Columbia River?
Yeah, but
And
they-
a cascade of boos rained down from the stands.
no, we're going to break down every single Hawkinson High School football game. That's what the hot corner has
Oh,
become
boy.
now that I'm
Oh,
here.
God.
Fife really gave you a
Hey, they
whooping.
were ranked at the end of the year.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.
Watch the listenership just plummet.
Well, it didn't start anywhere, so that's a good thing.
I don't know.
Somebody asked me the other day, what's the monetary value of your show? And I said, I'm pretty sure we lose money. My mom doesn't even listen anymore.
I was going to say, well, take how much you get paid every year and put a negative next to that.
Yeah, if it makes you guys feel any better, I get paid more than both of you.
For this
That
role,
doesn't.
yes.
Well,
yes.
Joe's at 0, so that helps.
Yes. That is
Oh.
true.
That's a big swing in the average there.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Joe does this out of the good of his heart.
This might be the first time that I'm not the least paid.
You are not.
That's right. My payroll comes out of a different budget on the spreadsheet there.
But sometimes I see your name on TVs. Nobody even knows that I work here, so at least you got that going for you,
What
Joe.
are you talking about?
Well, sometimes on the TVs, it's like,
Oh.
it's like Joe sold more than anyone this quarter, and we love Joe.
Well, that hasn't shown up at any time soon.
Clearly, he's not selling this show.
No, I think we've already been over this. If I were to power rank everything as far as what to sell, this would be a throw-in on a package.
What would you say you do here?
This would be like, hey, and if you want, you can sponsor the Hot Corner if you want. They're like, no.
Fair or foul, brought to you by the bum that I almost hit in my car.
Yeah, most of them are like, no, we're fine. We don't need to sponsor that show. It's all good.
Do you get asked if you still do that podcast?
Oh, you're still doing that, huh?
Yeah.
No one's asked me that.
I
in
got
a
asked
while.
today. Do you still do that podcast? And I'm like, do you mean live terrestrial radio?
You mean beers on us?
Hey,
That thing's been dead for half a decade.
You haven't lived until you have a sixth grader critiquing your job and them telling you, why aren't you in podcasting yet?
What do you mean? I have a sixth grader at home.
Are they critiquing you? Have they asked you why you're not in podcasting
I come
yet?
home and they're like, really? That sweatshirt? And I'm like, wow, I can't even get dressed.
They're so mean. They're brutal.
Brutal. They're brutal. Absolutely brutal. Hello, Will.
Hi, good to see you.
I'm happy to see you.
Buck asked if we were doing the Hawk Corner.
The hot corner.
Hawk.
The hawk.
Dude, spit on that thing.
Dude, she could be dead.
Yeah, we haven't seen her in a while.
Hawk 2 is dead?
Oh man, she created like a crypto coin, did a whole pump and dump scheme, and she hasn't been heard from in like 2.5 months.
I like the concept of pump and dump with Hawk Tua.
Yeah, it fits.
I have a question though.
It all tracks.
With all of those, like Taylor Mathis did the same thing where she like pump and dumped, and basically everyone has their own coin now. I think even Trump has a coin.
I think I saw.
My name's Alfred D'Elia. At home, they call me Big Al.
He
and I
probably
hit
has a
dingers.
coin.
A coin called dingers.
At one point, if you start a coin and just say you're going to do a pump and dump, like, is that illegal?
Like, hey guys, buy this.
This
and I
is
can sell it
garbage,
immediately.
but do it.
Buy
and
it.
then we out.
And then hopefully you get out before I do.
I saw Ezekiel Elliott also has a new coin as well.
Didn't Kayvon Thibodeau do that?
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
think he bought an NFT.
Definitely sounds like
it was
something
an NFT.
he would do.
I think he had NFTs. I still don't understand them.
Monkey
I
monkey
can't even
pictures,
spell it.
right? It's monkey pictures, I believe.
This
those
is
are
where
apes.
this is where. So you know how there's. I don't want to get too much into this because we're already up against it. But like, you know how there is like, okay, there's boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, but there's this like weird cross section of Gen X and millennials that some of us want to claim to be Gen X because we kind of missed out on that millennial boom, but technically we were born in that millennial era.
This is me with Gen Z and millennial.
Okay, so you feel the same thing. This is where Gen Xers are going to get exposed as true Gen Xers, is that I don't understand NFTs, crypto, or anything like that. So that makes me the boomer of the millennial, which probably makes me Gen X.
What? I feel like we just did algebra.
No, I actually get exactly what he's saying because technically I'm Gen Z. I'm 1997, so 97 is the first year that's technically Gen
But
Z.
you feel more millennial.
But I'm more millennial because everyone else that I knew that's like older than me
Because of
is-
nepotism and
yeah,
stuff like that.
Like it's
yeah.
millennial. Like I went through. Like I had a Razor as a first phone. Most Gen Z kids had an iPhone as a first phone, just because that's what it was when they came along a couple years later. So,
God, you guys are so Sigma.
dude, don't bring that in here.
I don't even know what that means. Boomer alert.
Yeah, it's
I don't even know what it means.
Boomer alert.
they all say it. And really,
You're not fluent in brain rot yet, Will?
I tell them to shut up.
Hey, do you know what this thing is?
Oh,
That means steal second.
Is that what that means? Do you guys know what that means? My kids do it all the time.
It's what the Rizzler does. He
Yeah,
like,
it's,
gets his chin
and then I do that and they like die laughing.
it's his.
I believe
his Riz face.
it's mewing.
Who's the Rizzer?
The
Is this Jim
Rizzler?
Carrey
No, the
in the
Rizzler.
Batman movie?
He's like a really fat, obese, like 8-year-old. He's awesome.
No, what
He
he's
eats
He's
what he's
Italian.
yeah, he does kind of look like Alfred D'Elia or Albert D'Elia. No,
Big
it's
Al.
he's showing off his jawline because now that's apparently the thing with the kids where you want to have this very distinct, defined jawline.
Oh, I can't find my jawline because it's buried in the triple
In your
chins I
gullet.
got going.
That's why they were buying those like little ball things that you could chew on to strengthen your jaw
Like a
muscles.
buzz ball?
It looked just like a Tide Pod, but it's pretty much. Apparently, it doesn't pop.
I'm done with this. Oakley dokley. We got a baseball show for you tonight. There's a lot to get into. Top of the 8 o'clock hour Hall of Fame vote came across. We'll look at 2026 real quick for fun, but obviously there's a little bit to chatter about this year's inductees. A lot to get to as well. What else do I have on the list, Joe? Paul Skeens. Paul
yeah,
Skeens on the sheet.
Paul Skeens, also Dodgers, rest and piss. We hate you all.
The Dodgers have more starting pitchers than the entire American League Central.
We got some Hall of Fame stuff to get to. You already mentioned.
Yep.
I was going to say that, we can do the 2026 preview right now.
Nope.
And we're done.
And we're done.
There is nothing after this year, it seems like.
Opening day, and here's the first pitch, and the season's over.
So stick with us. But when we come back, Patrick would like to pay tribute to a legend, to one of the greats to ever do this. As we've been off for a couple weeks and we haven't had the chance, and I will give you some love. We'll do that next. This is the Hot Corner, Portland Sports Leader, 1080 The Fan. We are live from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge. I have them on my page, Will, just in case.
I've found them. You're the only show with them where they're at. I just want that
made clear. Well, hey, blame the guy who's throwing up right now.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying every other show, they're at the very top.
That's normally the case. But again, blame the dude who thought he could trust the Jack in the Box on the corner of 22nd and Thurman or whatever it is up there in Northwest.
Is that where he got it?
I am pretty sure. I mean, he had it yesterday in the studio with him. It was either that or the Dutch Bros, but he gets that all the time. And I don't know if you've been to that Jack in the Box. I think I probably dodged food poisoning 8 times from that place.
Oh, I've eaten that place many times.
I know.
Never food poisoning.
Oh, every time I get it, I'm like, this could be it. I start sending texts. Love you all.
I love you, Mama.
Yeah.
Tell my Mama I love her.
Is everything okay?
Tell my Mama I love her.
Maybe. I just had a jumbo jack, so we'll find out.
Down goes Anderson! Down goes Anderson!
You will not catch me eating one of those god-awful tacos, though.
Oh, I love
Regardless
those
of what
tacos.
Jack in the Box it is.
Oh, I love
They're
those
so
tacos.
good.
No,
Totally worth
they're
it.
not.
I love those tacos. My friends, speaking of things that I love,
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
we lost Bob Uecker. I had some conversations with some friends, and we decided that the 3 GOATs of play-by-play baseball go Vin Scully 1, Dave Niehaus 2, and Bob Uecker 3. Something just really fun about Bob Uecker.
Well, I
We
think
thought. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, I think it's probably just because of his acting career, especially his contributions to the movie Major League. I think that kind of gives him a little bit of a nod to that top 3, possibly number 1.
I think we looked at it like no one tells stories like Vin. Nobody tells stories like Vin Scully.
And
that's the guy.
And what? Yeah.
And that's the story of Mike Matheny and the bird poop.
Yes.
Like, Vin tells stories like nobody else. Niehaus we loved because Niehaus was full of emotion. Break out the mustard and rye bread, Grandma. It's a grand salon. Like, like he had that emotion. And that's what was so great. Bob Uecker's a straight comedian. That guy's just comedy. Not just Major League, but like calling Brewers games. They asked him, they said, somebody in an interview with Bob Uecker said, hey, man, like, you as a player, dude, like, you only batted like 175 in your career. And Bob Uecker said,
200.
202 with runners in scoring position. And, like, that's the guy Bob Uecker was. Bob Uecker called games last season. Like, this guy did it. He played in the 50s and still called games last season. I saw this amazing stat from him. He played in a game against a team that was managed by Casey Stengel, who managed in the 20s. And last year he called a game with Juan Soto on the field, who is signed till 2039. That's over 100 years of baseball that Bob Uecker spans.
That's generational. Generations. Many generations. God, that's old.
When Major League Baseball turned to the point where when you had MLB TV, you could watch the video, but turn on the radio calls. I do that for the Guardians because I love Tom Hamilton. I would do that with Bob Uecker just to listen to Bob Uecker. Because the Brewers would always play a noon game on a Tuesday. And I could watch that at home doing nothing. And I would just say, well, I mean, if I'm watching the Brewers, I might as well throw on Bob Uecker.
Fun fact about Bob Uecker that I never knew. In March 1987, he was at WrestleMania 3 as the ring announcer.
Yep.
For Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
Yep, and there's a great promo.
Oh, my God.
There's a great promo before of him interviewing Andre the Giant. And at the end of it, Andre the Giant puts his hands around Bob Uecker's neck and chokes him, and Bob Uecker sells it. He goes, ah! It's hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that clip before.
It's hilarious. And I, as a wannabe baseball historian, and Larry Stone, if you're out there listening, as a wannabe baseball Hall of Fame voter, like, I love to pay homage to some of these important dudes that go. And Bob Uecker is one of the greats, one of the best, one of the absolute most fantastic. And I don't know if, with Vin gone and even John Sterling retiring and Niehaus is gone and now Uecker's gone, I don't know if we're going to get guys like that anymore. Tom Hamilton is great. I know I'm biased when I say that as a Cleveland fan, but Tom Hamilton's going into the Hall of Fame this year as the Ford Fick Award winner. But I don't know if we're going to see guys like Bob Uecker anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like they're so old. I mean, I'm
But
trying
it's
to
not that. I'm talking about the entertainment value of these guys.
But again, I'm trying to think of who's calling games right now on radio for teams. I don't know every single radio play-by-play guy for every team. So who is of that ilk? Like, is there anybody that is kind of on that upper echelon, that again, sort of generational timeline as far as being able to be an announcer like those three guys? I mean,
Sims
There's a
isn't
drive in a deep
terrible.
left field by Castellanos. It will be a home run.
no, he's not allowed to ever be on that list.
He's back. He's on the CW.
Yeah, he's C-dub guy now, where he doesn't even deserve that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the way media is right now, everybody wants to be Joe Buck. Joe Buck is or a Bob Costas. Those are the penultimate baseball guys. And they do it with class. They do it with structure. There's not a lot of bias, although if you ask me, there's a lot of bias. But there's less emotion. It's more about, it's kind of like what we say about the referees. Like, if you know the referee's name, that's a bad thing. And I kind of feel like announcers are kind of saying, if you know their name, that's a bad thing. And I think in baseball, that's not how it should go. I want to see these guys. I want guys that have a ton of emotion and say crazy things like,
That's all. We got one damn hit.
You can't say damn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
I stole that line from Bob Uecker. People say, oh, it's the hot corner. I'm like, who cares? Nobody's listening. That's great.
Yeah.
And the contribution to Major League, almost all those lines are all ad lib.
I'm going through a list of some of the on-air play-by-play guys in MLB baseball, and it's rarefied air, man. It's really hard to find someone that is in that ilk of those three that you named.
And I think there's guys
sort of like it's a passing of the torch, passing of generations in a sense, that Bob Uecker was the last of a dying breed.
Now, what did I do wrong?
No,
he's still kicking.
There's John Sterling, but John Sterling is like number 2 Derek Jeter. And that's not as exciting.
Just a bit outside.
Well, and he's not doing every game anymore. Like, they're just running him out there.
I know. I'm just saying. I just wish, there and you pass that on to other sports. There's still no.
Have you ever been to a volcano?
We need more of that. I've always been saying this. I'm waiting for Barstool or someone to finally get some sort of licensing deal to call games, and somebody sits there and they're like, you know what? That's a bold bleep call. I think that guy's a bleep and bleep.
Barstool did it. It was bad. It was rough.
Well, because they had the wrong people.
Right. You gotta have a special person.
But if like Andrew Dice Clay came on and started breaking down an NBA game, I might listen. And I think he sucks.
Didn't we already try that with what's his name, Dennis
Miller?
Yeah,
but he can't drop F-bombs.
No. Listen, what's that one dude? Bob Menery got all famous because he was doing that. He was
the fake ones, yeah.
Yeah, the fake calls of him cursing and saying stuff, and I would love it, but yeah, I don't think FCC will ever approve of that.
Streaming.
Thanks, Janet's nip.
Streaming, baby.
Yeah, get it on the old
I'd
YouTubes.
love Kirk Herbstreit to be calling a Thursday night game and be like, look, Al, that guy running down the field is a bitch.
I would like Kirk Herbstreit.
That would be amazing.
I would like Kirk Herbstreit to stay away from football broadcasts in general
going
forward.
Do you think it's because, the people of that ilk, right? You go Niehaus, Vin Scully, Uecker, they weren't really taught how to do it. They just did it.
Yeah.
They went out and they used their own personality. Where, Joe went through it at Oregon. I went through it at Central.
Wazoo.
Right? You go through those journalism classes, and what do they teach you? They teach you to not give bias, right? It's more about the voice itself than necessarily letting your personality show. So maybe it kind of gets taught out of people. I really like Ian's kid.
Ian.
Thank you. Noah Eagle.
Dude, that guy's got some chompers.
I like
He's
Noah
no
Eagle.
Iron Eagle.
I like Noah. But I don't think that Noah shows a personality, really, aside from
Ian
the
doesn't
one.
either.
Neither one of them do, but they have great voices, so
Yeah.
they are where they are. I almost wonder if like that personality-driven stuff has been taken out.
I'm really into that Collinsworth kid. His son.
Jack?
I'm joking.
Okay, I
That
was
guy
going to say.
sucks.
It's a good thing Jordan isn't here. He would have a full-on nepotism meltdown right there.
All right, well, that's it.
My heart!
I have waxed poetic long enough about the great Bob Uecker. Rest in peace. We lost him a couple days ago.
He's a bit before my generation. You know, I know that I was hearing some of the other shows talk about how he would go on Johnny Carson all the time.
Johnny Carson said nobody ever made him laugh harder than Bob Uecker.
See, and it's just like, what play-by-play guy has ever had that sort of relationship, that sort of cachet with the entertainment industry like that?
Yeah, the answer might be Vin Scully, but it's probably about Bob Uecker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't remember Vin Scully in any movies having good lines.
No.
I mean, this Bob Uecker is one of a kind.
Don't sleep on Major League 2. That one's really good too, and he's really great in that.
I need to go back and watch
He's
that
really
all the way
great.
through.
All right, when we come back, Roki Sass, my boy Sass,
Oh my God.
has found a team, and I think we all play for this team now. So we'll get to that next. But first, we'll throw it over to the big fella for sports.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, your Portland Trailblazers are playing the Milwaukee Bucks right now in the Moda Center. There's a little bit left to go in the first quarter, about 3 minutes just underneath. Right now, the Blazers are trailing the Bucks 29-27. Leading the way for your Portland Trailblazers in the score column, Shaedon Sharpe. He's got 7 in that one. DeAndre Ayton right behind him. He's got 6. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its .1080 The Fan.
Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches. Boy, how can these guys lay off pitches that close?
Coming up at the 8 o'clock hour, we'll dive into the Hall of Fame vote, take a quick peek at 2026, and talk about some stuff like, is it cooler to be your first year or is it cooler to be your 10th year? I feel a trend coming on. So we'll get to that at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Plus, we'll talk about Livy Dunn's, dude. And would you take the deal? Plus, fair or foul at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Will Ortner on the ones and twos today. Thank you for joining us. It's time to talk some real stuff here. Roki Sass, as I like to call him, Roki Sasaki, he has chosen a team. And, you know, I think there was a while where I actually thought he wasn't going to pick the Dodgers. I really did think that. I really thought he was looking at other teams. And then it was like, dude, you're smarter than this. What's wrong with you?
I never
You know when you make that mistake and you're like, dude, come on, man, you're smarter than this.
Yeah, but there was never really a feeling in me that made me really sway towards another team where I'm like, I don't know, man. I think the Giants, I don't know, the Padres, the Yankees, I think they're going to be going hard after him and they might be able to swing. It just seems like the Dodgers are just getting whoever and whatever they want, and it just there's no reason for people to say no right now. It's like, wait, you're going to pay me over the next 40 years and we're going to win every World Series for the next 10? All right, sounds good.
Roki Sass is going to get paid $760,000 next year.
How much?
$760,000.
Oh, because he's getting $7 million for the next 15 years after he retires.
He is technically considered an amateur international free agent, meaning he comes with 6 years of club control and earns a rookie salary in 2025. Got a $6.5 million signing bonus. So that deferred money and stuff, man, that doesn't count here. He is literally on the cheap.
Yeah, and I was reading something today about how he stayed away from getting Tommy John surgery a few years back, and he didn't want to risk a potential career.
They told him he should?
Yeah, and he said, I do not want to do that because I don't want to have a potential career-risking surgery that could change things dramatically, and especially when I'm trying to go make money overseas here soon, that I don't want to chance that. So.
And then the next year he had like the best season of his career.
Yeah. So, but
do you think if he goes out with the Dodger rotation, he's like, yo, you guys are buying, right?
Oh, for sure.
Shohei's like, not me. I only make $2 million, dude.
Yeah.
I only make $2 million.
Let me show you my paycheck.
Go talk to my boy Yamamoto, dude. Yoshi, he's got the tab. Tyler Glasnow's like, hi, kids, can I hang out with you?
Or they should ask the Dodgers owner. You see him giving $100 million to the wildfire
What
relief?
a great guy. What a great guy.
Well, it's better than
Go
what
Dodgers, go blue.
It's better than what the LA teams did combined.
I know.
Did you see that?
I love when you see billionaires who are like, I'll give $5 million.
It was 12 teams, 12 LA teams, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you guys 8. It's like, wait.
Genie Bus is like, here's $10.
800? No, just 8.
She might not have $8 million.
Really?
They're not super rich.
Genie Bus?
She owns the Lakers.
Yeah, it's one. It's one of those
it's
where
not that
it's
profitable
It's
nowadays.
like,
no,
Hank
it's-
Steinbrenner's a little
she's
cash strapped right now.
She's cash poor. Essentially, she's cash poor. Similar to Davis.
She
Mark
doesn't have a
Davis.
lot of liquid assets.
Yes.
She's sitting on, assets, just not liquid.
So if you're cash strapped but you got liquid assets, how do you change that?
No, she doesn't have liquid assets.
It's what she owns.
Oh, well then how do you change that?
You sell it.
How's it like, yo, I own the Lakers, and Joe's like, you're buying dinner tonight. It's like, actually, my card got declined at Starbucks today.
Why do you think that Mark Davis eats at P.F. Chang's all the time?
Moths flying out of her pockets.
I just assume Mark Davis eats at P.F. Chang's because he's Mark Davis.
Yeah, it
He's got no
sounds like-
money.
Hey, he likes his Chang sauce.
Hey, man, I ain't got no money. I can't afford P.F. Chang's.
Neither can I.
He's got more money than I do.
Can't even afford P.F.
Roki Sasaki, huh? What just happened there?
Roki Sasaki sits in this Dodger rotation of Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell, Ohtani, and Sasaki. I have to imagine that there's no pressure on him, right?
A lot less pressure than Yoshi. I mean, you are kind of
Do you think Yoshi has the most of them?
Well, I think just the timing of it. It's like Yoshi was the first Japanese player or pitcher to come over.
$300 million.
Yeah.
325, I believe.
That'll do it. and then the next part
and then God, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, it's like there is a bunch of other guys on this team where it is going to make him kind of easy to. Oh God, I'm seeing the bottom line here. Dodgers strike deal with Kirby Yates, 1 year, 13. It's like, come on, dude. Yeah. Wait, I'm getting a call from the LA Dodgers. They want to sign me too. Okay. But yeah, way less pressure on him. You aren't coming in with a fat contract like that. It's very high reward, low risk, I want to say. Because of that, if it doesn't work out, whatever, you're not spending a fortune for him. And if it does, and he throws a 2.1 ERA and is just as dominant as people expect him to be, then great. Worked out well.
I'm curious if you
have the pressure, for him, it's got to be nice coming into this team because, there's going to be eyeballs on you to perform, but it's not going to be like, all right, man, we put in a lot of money into you, and you're going to be our ace one day. They're hoping that he can be there 3 or 4 for the next 5-6 years. Probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of interested in when it comes to Roki. Like, if you've got him under control for 6 years, it's kind of like the Shohei thing. Like the Angels had him. Once they got him, they had him for years. Is Roki just setting up to be the big chip to move? Like if Roki comes out and has a 2.5, 3.5 ERA at the deadline and you really need somebody because he's cheap, is he expendable? Or is he truly the future post Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, the older guys on the big deals that are going to be really hard to move? Does Sasaki become the big chip that allows you to maneuver if you really need to? Say Mookie goes down or say Shohei goes down and you need a big bat in the middle of the lineup. Is Roki the guy that you can dangle out there because he's so cheap?
I guess. I never thought of that as that, because they are so have so much talent on this team, that do you get to a point where you can leverage him to build up your farm system a little bit more down the road? But I can't imagine that you are acquiring this guy to have a half season with him to see what he can do and then use him as leverage. I mean, if you get a half season of him playing as well as what we're saying, like 2.5 ERA or something like that, sub 3, he's just dominant, then the Dodgers will probably sign him to something long term. Like, I don't think you're bringing him in and convincing him to play for LA just for, a short amount of time. I hear what you're saying. Like, you can, if the season doesn't go the way that you think, if you're down a few guys and you're at the trade deadline and you're 500 and it might, Shohei or Mookie or Freddie or whoever the hell is Glasnow's out for the season. And you're
Michael Conforto goes down. You got a big gap in left field.
Yeah, man. That's tough. Then I see what you're saying, but again, I think that they're going to base what the future looks like with him off of what they see this season. Now, if he gets I don't even see them getting rid of him after one season if he gets just absolutely shellacked in the first year.
He's so cheap. There's no reason why you would.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, what if I told you that he is one of 13 starting pitchers for the Dodgers?
Including me. That's what the offer was for.
Oh, 14.
Yeah.
One of 14. Joe's going to throw.
You don't want to see my junk, all right?
Part of me kind of does.
Oh, it's nasty. It is nasty.
Yeah. You just throw a nice warm bath. Some Cavatier.
It is some nasty stuff.
Then you put it in. All right, when we come back, what do you make of this? What do you make of this? We'll do that next. The Hot Corner, today the Fan.
A champion. 1080 The Fan.
Hall of Fame coming up at 8 o'clock. Plus, at the bottom of the hour, we'll do Fair or Foul, a Will Ortner or edition of that. Plus, we'll chat a little Paul Skeens and a little fun. Thank you. Shout out to all those of you on YouTube.
All zero
of you. Happy to have you. I look great today.
I think we have 2 viewers right now, and it's you and me.
Sick, dude.
I went to go check the chat.
Not even Will's on the YouTube.
No, I'm watching right now. I'm just under the 1080 one.
So wait, we have -1 viewers.
We have -1 viewers right now.
If you don't count us, how does that even work?
Like I said, my mom doesn't even listen.
We owe YouTube money.
I thought YouTube was free.
Isn't that funny how your family, who's supposed to be your biggest supporters, don't listen to anything you do on this station?
No, not at all.
I've told them to stop listening.
I don't know.
I think I could quit this job and my mom wouldn't know for a decade.
I think my peepaw, Fisher Jr., he listens on Sundays. But I've told him multiple times, I was like, Patrick and I were on Tuesday nights. Oh, Patrick, I love Patrick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's Tuesday night. You can watch it while you're at home.
Tuesday I was busy.
Jeopardy. Ripping up a rotisserie chicken. My hands had grease all over them.
According to the roster on ESPN, I came across this on Reddit, which is the only social media that I partake in these days due to obvious reasons. Somebody posted this. According to ESPN, there are 13 starting pitchers on the Dodgers. And actually, this came out
14
before Roki Sasaki. So the answer is actually 14.
Right here, baby.
These are the guys on the roster that technically count as starting pitchers. Edgardo Henriquez, Kyle Hurt, Landon Knack,
none of those
Michael
guys
Kopech, Dustin May, Bobby Miller, Evan Phillips, River Ryan, Emmett Sheehan, Blake Snell, Gavin Stone, Alex Vesia, Justin Robleski, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I did not say Shohei Ohtani or Tyler Glasnow. This team is stupid.
Well, to, take one away, Kopech isn't really a starting pitcher.
I missed this. There was 2 screens. Landon Knack, Edgardo Henriquez, Tony Gonsolin, Tyler Glasnow, Landon Knack, Dustin May, Bobby Miller, River Ryan, Emmett Sheehan, Blake Snell, Gavin Stone, Justin Robleski, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Roki Sasaki. That's 14.
Not enough, in my opinion. I think you need more. I think, 14 starting pitchers. If your pitcher isn't pitching, if he's pitching once every 3-4 weeks, you have a problem. You need to figure that out.
Bobby Miller pitched last year as a starter. Gavin Stone pitched last year as a starter. Dustin May's coming back, ready to rumble. Tony Gonsolin, a postseason hero. Those aren't even in the rotation. Do you think you can move these guys around into bullpen leverage modes? Or are these the guys that start games because someone's hurt or you want to give an off day? Because let's be real, Shohei's going to need off days. He's not going to be a full-time, every 5th day starting pitcher, right?
No.
No way.
No.
So insert Gavin Stone?
Landon Knack?
Insert,
some of these guys, there's no way
insert Bobby Miller, but
Gavin Stone are not going to be on the opening day roster.
Gavin Stone and Bobby Miller threw starts last year. Clayton Kershaw's not even on this list.
Okay, let's go through these one by one. Edgardo Henriquez.
Okay, out.
Not happening. Landon Knack.
Okay, out.
Next one on Dustin May.
Dustin May is going to start. Roster resource.
Some time.
Fangraphs has him as the 6th starter.
Bobby Miller, yes. River Ryan.
I love his name, though.
Yeah, cool name, but sorry, I don't need a country album.
The big questions for me are Bobby Miller and Gavin Stone. Those guys threw massive innings last year. Clayton Kershaw's not on this list. That's 3 bona fide starters that don't fit into your top 5. To add to Tony Gonsolin,
God, I totally forgot they got Blake Snell too.
yeah, I know it's easy to forget. And May's coming back. So you got 5 starters that would start on a majority of teams in this league that don't sniff the top 5. How do you manage that? How do you deal with that? What is the game plan going forward? How do you keep Gavin Stone fresh, who was pretty good last year for the Dodgers? Bobby Miller is one of their biggest pitching prospects because they only sign free agents these days. How do you get those guys enough innings to be ready to start when you need them in case of injury, off days, etc.? I don't know the answer to that. Is Dave Roberts truly about to show me that he's the greatest manager since sliced bread?
Again, this Justin Robleski guy doesn't even have a picture on ESPN. That's at least, I've eliminated at least 4 of these guys.
Okay, so the answer is still 9.
Yeah,
and Kershaw's not on the list.
Well, I mean, is Kershaw even going to play this year?
Yes, of course he is. He's going to be dude waving the flag.
I don't know. You're going to trade some of these guys. Some of these dudes are going to just be, as far as, like the 6th, 7th, 8th dude. Also, Dodgers' track record over the last few years as far as starting pitcher goes, there's going to be 3 or 4 guys consistently out.
I'll give you.
That's probably why they have so many starting pitchers. It seems like they have someone go down every other week. And then as soon as one guy comes back, another one hits the IR, and then another one goes with him for 15 or for 10 days, and then the 60-day guy comes back, but then he got 2 guys go on the 10-day. Like, starting pitching, there's part of me that doesn't blame them for getting 12 starting pitchers ready for the season, possibly 13.
Joe, I'll give you Gavin Stone, Bobby Miller, and Dustin May for Jackson Holiday.
No.
3 starters.
Yeah, I know.
3 ready to go now starters.
I'm good.
On a team that has 0 starters.
Did you see what he did once he got called up for the second time?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I can also predict what those starters are going to do. I think you got signed with the Dodgers. I think I'm about to get signed for the Orioles.
Dude, it's
you're a better athlete than me, so you deserve the Dodgers.
Fun young squad. I hope you enjoyed out there.
Dude, clubhouse guy
over in the Chesapeake Bay.
Gym rat. First in, last out.
You got to trade some of these guys. Some of them have got to be either converted to bullpen, or some of them are just going to be happy to.
Where in the bullpen with Blake Trinan and Kirby Yates? Like, are they about to get Josh Hader? Is Emmanuel Clase going to L.A.?
Nope. Actually, my phone.
Kenley Jansen?
Yeah.
They get Mo out of retirement? Well, you might have to.
Well,
get out of jail first.
Your favorite manager can't F this up.
He can't. No, he can.
No,
he can for sure F this up.
I don't think he can F this
Dave
up.
Roberts can for sure F this up.
I don't think he can. That's a tall task.
Tito wouldn't F this up.
Yeah, they have a billion pitchers. Mm-hmm. It's like half their 40-man roster right there.
They had to figure out some moves to get Kirby Yates to sign.
Yeah, he's not even on this list.
Yeah, I know.
My God.
All right, we come back. We'll get into the second hour. Loaded way to get there. I
do like the top comment. If you have 13 starting pitchers, you have 5 starting pitchers.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
We come back. We'll get into the second hour. A lot to get to. Paul Skeens, rookie card. What would you take to get that card out of your hands? Plus fair or foul at the bottom of the hour. And we'll start off with the Hall of Fame. Loaded second hour. Don't go anywhere. Hot Corner. Today the Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, your Portland Trailblazers are trailing the Milwaukee Bucks 53-48. There's 4:09 left to go in the second quarter in that one. Right now, leading the way for the Blazers, DeAndre Ayton has 10 points, followed closely behind by Shaedon Sharpe. He's got 9. Jeremy Grant has 8, and Denny Avdia has 7. Right now, Scoot Henderson is a perfect 2 for 2 from the field. He's got 4 points and 4 assists there. Over in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys hired former Bears head coach Matt Eberflus to be their new defensive coordinator. Eberflus was the DC for the Colts before he became the head coach in Chicago. And Russell Wilson and Drake May have been announced as Pro Bowl replacement QBs for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. That's on the AFC roster. On the NFC roster, Baker Mayfield will replace Jaden Daniels. The Pro Bowl activities are going to begin in 2 days on Thursday, and then they will end on Sunday going into Super Bowl week. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Slam Dunk in Vegas is our nationwide contest.
They're stickers. Yeah. My God.
On the Odyssey app.
Dear Chase, I feel like I can call you Chase because you and me are so much alike. I would love to meet you someday. It would be great to have a catch. I know I can't throw as fast as you, but I think you would be impressed with my speed. Did you have a good relationship with your father? Me neither.
And 1080.
These are all things we can talk about and more. I am sure our relationship would be a real home run.
The Fan.
Welcome to the second hour of the Hot Corner. You're missing the first hour. You can download that Fan podcast at 1080thefan.com, the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts, including places that rhyme with Livy Dunify.
Oh, I'd subscribe.
We've already subscribed.
Yeah, I'm definitely a follower of hers on Instagram.
I asked Joe about an over-under on this because there is a large basketball game looming in town tonight.
Oh. It's not Pitt, North Carolina?
I mean, I'm more interested in that.
My Pitt Panthers.
I love that this game is 55-52 Bucks over Sirs.
This team.
Right now.
Yeah,
I'm happy for TNT.
Who's that number 0 guy for the Bucks? He's pretty good. No,
Scoot Henderson,
number 0 for the Bucks. We should try and go after him.
They get Jimmy Butler. Is that Jimmy Butler wearing number 0?
I don't know who that guy is, but he looks pretty good.
Are the Heat still mad at us that now that Jimmy Butler wants out? I did see some shade on the Blazers subreddit. It wasn't about Danny Meringue this
Holy
time.
crap, that's Damian Lillard.
But I did see somebody came into the Blazers subreddit a week ago and blamed Jimmy Butler wanting out on the Blazers not trading them Damian Lillard.
Wait, they're blaming Jimmy Butler wanting out now
because the Blazers wouldn't send Dame to the Heat for their garbage package.
How about that? That's
some deep salt.
That is, I mean, the Heat fan already didn't like Portland Trailblazers, but that's even more of a reason. It's like, wow, we wouldn't lose Jimmy if you would have just given us
Dame for free
for a washer and dryer, then
Jimmy Butler
would still be here.
Would still be there.
I say they try to bring Jimmy back one more time.
I was just happy that they weren't blasting our friend Danny Meringue.
That's kind of funny.
It's usually what that subreddit does.
It's kind of funny.
I read the comments.
Heat or the Portland?
The Portland one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Heat subreddit.
It's friendly fire.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, no love lost between him and the Heat fan base at this point.
That's the truth. All right, we got Fair or Foul coming up in the bottom of the hour, plus Livy Dunn here in about 15 minutes. But let's get into this.
We can't do Livy Dunn right now.
No, we can't do. You got to wine and dine her. As they talked about in the club hour, she needs a little bit of wooing and maybe a lot of wooing.
You know what? I'm just you just do this segment. I'll just stare at her Instagram page for the next 15 minutes.
Okay, all right. Then it's just me. The 2025 Hall of Fame voting results came out. We got 3 people coming in. Remember, you need a C average.
God, she's so hot.
To pass the list.
Oh, sorry.
There's that actress lady that I really like with the big talent.
Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah.
Spokane's finest.
Is she
Spokane?
really from Spokane?
That's my hometown.
I don't know where she's from.
That's my hometown.
How would I know where she's from? Who knows?
That's my hometown. That's where we from.
Spokompton, baby. Spokanistan.
That's where we from.
Getting higgy with it.
Look at you, Spokane.
Spokane, dude.
What is in the water?
Sweeney.
What is in the
Bing
milk?
Crosby, dude. This is amazing.
What is in the dairy products?
Just a trifecta.
What that?
Just a trifecta. Adam Morrison, too. Throw that in there, too. The stash.
Hall of Fame, what?
Hall of Fame. 3 people going to the Hall of Fame. That would be Billy Wagner on his 10th year on the ballot. And 2 first-timers. Karsten Charles Sabathia III and Ichiro Suzuki.
Totally threw me off as if that was Ichiro's real first name. Carlston Suzuki. Carlston Ichiro Suzuki.
Karsten Charles Sabathia
Karsten.
III.
Gotcha.
Do you see how I wear my hat just a skew to the right?
Yeah, I told
That'd
you to
be
do
for the
that
big
because I
fella.
thought it would be cool.
Nah, that's from the big fella when he was in Cleveland, the big boy.
Yeah,
was a
that is
big
a
boy in
true story that you do wear your hat like that because of old CC.
I am glad that CC Sabathia got in. I do think he is a Hall of Fame caliber pitcher. I do think it helped that he pitched in New York. I do think it helped that he won a World Series there. The lights were on him. He kind of changed his pitching style as he evolved. Lost a ton of weight while he was in New York. He looks great as a human being right now for just a large man size. It's like I see Will Ortner over there. And when I saw Will Ortner 2 years ago,
Will, you look great as a human being right now.
2 years ago, that Will Ortner would have eaten the current Will Ortner. Like, he looks good. CC looks great right now. But he was a big fella when he pitched, and there was something fun about him. He won 2 Cy Youngs, one as a Cleveland Indian, one as a Milwaukee Brewer after being traded halfway through the season. CC is one of my favorite pitchers I ever watched. There's kind of multiple generations.
Well, who doesn't like a fat pitcher?
Of course.
I mean,
there's multiple generations. There's my early generation, which is Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson. Like those are some of my guys. And then the newer genre, those guys are starting to get in the Hall of Fame, and CC was always up there for me. I'm very happy he's going in. Not because I'm an Indians fan, but I think CC was one of the good ones.
yeah, I mean, he he's been in the league since 2003?
I think so.
Something around there.
Something like
getting
that.
pulled
He
up right
pitched
now.
for a long time.
2001 to 2019 was his career. I mean, he was in those mid 2000s. He was at Cleveland. Again, you're right where him going to New York gave him even more notoriety. But if you remember him in his Cleveland days, dude was one of the best in the league. And again, you got to appreciate a fat pitcher, but the dude threw gas. Dude was dominant.
He pitched for 2 months in Milwaukee, and everybody was like, is this the best pitcher in baseball? For 2 months. I don't even know if they made the playoffs that year. But they traded for him at the deadline because Cleveland was like, well, this guy's about to sign a fat deal. Let's go ahead and get rid of him. And he did sign a fat deal with the Yankees, and then he won a World Series with them.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some of his career stats pulled up.
He's not a 300 win. He's not a 3,000 K.
He's got a 3.74 ERA, 251 wins, 61.8 career WAR. Strikeouts. Looking at it right now. Strikeouts 3,093.
He is a 3,000 guy.
Yeah.
I think CC is going to be kind of a litmus test for a lot of pitchers coming through as eyeball test. You know, he doesn't have 300 wins. He does have 3,000 strikeouts, so I was wrong on that. But I think he's going to start this litmus test of looking at guys that pitchers and saying, is that guy a Hall of Famer? And I think you look at CC and say, yes, that guy's a Hall of Famer. Watching that guy throughout his career, is he one of the best to ever do it in that era? Yes, the answer is yes.
Well, again, those mid-2000s, man, he was
dominant.
Yes. That when he went to New York, he was still good there, but he was not nearly as good as he was.
He's not Cleveland good.
No. And that's what I liked about CC is that he made his name, he made his career, and he had his best years in Cleveland in those mid-2000 years where there was really good pitchers then.
And as somebody who didn't make the ballot, that I would argue why CC benefits from being in New York is Felix Hernandez.
I was about to go there with my next question because if
Felix,
there's a
without
producer,
a doubt, is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
If there's a producer on the hot corner, he's got to be a Mariners honk.
I'm so glad he's not here tonight because he would be losing his S right now.
Well, but like you kind of have to a little bit for Felix.
That's him throwing up.
Felix won a Cy Young with like 12 wins.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
And there was a year that Corey Kluber beat CC or beat Felix for Cy Young. I was here with Voldemort, not in this studio, down in the poop-filled Willamette, and I said on air, if I had a vote, I would vote for Felix. And they gave it to Corey Kluber.
Felix won one Cy Young. He should have 3 more.
Without a doubt.
I'm biased. It's like him and Kershaw from that era that are the best. Now, his drop-off is immediate. Like
yes.
He hits the cliff, Thelma and Louise, and he's down.
He's
gone. But his true peak is the best, and I worry that he's going to get screwed because if you are a voter and you're not looking at starting pitchers like, you know, they do with the Supreme Court when it's porn, right? You know it when you see it. Starting pitchers in the Hall of Fame, you know it when you see it, and it's him because he's not going to have the numbers in the win column that everyone else has.
Well, and it's funny that we were talking about that Felix Corey Kluber comparison right there because I'm looking at a list that they have of best pitchers since the year 2000. Right, so
Bartolo Colon.
2000 to the year 2020. So the last 20 years. Yeah, and on this list at 15 is Felix Hernandez, but they put Kluber at number 12. Do you know how many more strikeouts Felix has in Kluber?
Well, I think the interesting thing with Kluber is Kluber had 4 years of absolute dominance, a slider that was unhittable. Felix was that for 8 years, maybe 10 years.
Well, and that goes into it, though. It's like, what is a Hall of Fame?
Kluber went to a World Series.
What's a Hall of Fame career?
Pitched 3 games in a World Series.
Felix has probably the most one-run given up losses of all time.
Of all time. Randy Johnson might be the other.
Also, for what it's worth, Felix Hernandez has about 1,100 more strikeouts than Corey Kluber does over his career.
1,100.
1461 compared to 25-24.
And see, that's just people not watching the Pacific
Northwest.
Northwest.
I think that we have a geographic bias here, and I wouldn't even say it's a bias. It's just we spend a lot of our time watching the Mariners and watching Felix pitch. We know how good he is. One of my most favorite live sporting moments was going up to T-Mobile Park 2 years ago to watch his jersey get retired. I'll always remember that. That was one of the best times I've ever had in a ballpark because here I am as an Orioles fan and I'm cheering just as hard as anybody else in that stadium because I know how great of a player pitcher he was and how important he is to that franchise, but also just to the game of baseball, man. His perfect game. I know exactly where I was. I was watching it down in Eugene. I was trying to look for apartments before I moved down there, and me and the girl were sitting down having lunch, and it was on the TV, and we were watching. I was watching it. Of course, she doesn't know jackass about baseball, so I'm telling her.
Final score of that game?
Perfect 1-0.
1-0.
I don't even remember. I was just like, Felix got a win for once. It was probably a 1-0 game.
I saw Felix Hernandez. I saw one time I went to the Unit versus the King, and Randy was in New York, and New York was in town to play the Mariners, and it was Felix against Randy Johnson. Felix threw 7 innings, gave up 1 run. Randy threw 8, gave up 0. Yankees won 2-0.
That was classic. Felix was notorious for having like 10 strikeouts. Ichiro would get 2 singles, and the Mariners would have 3 hits total.
And I think what's garbage about this, like, regional bias BS stuff is, like, the game is not that way anymore. Like, we can watch Ellie De La Cruz in Cincinnati. Corbin Burns, I didn't need to see him on Baltimore to know that he's good because I watched him in Milwaukee. You know, like, the way baseball is now, this like, oh, I don't stay up late to watch stuff. Look, we know who Mason Miller is and Brent Rooker and Butler and those kids in Oakland that are really good because the game is not as niche regionally as it used to be. You don't have to be in New York to get to the World Series or to get to the Hall of Fame, but apparently they do because that's shown right here.
Well, just look at the Ichiro voting.
And
it's that simple. Look at Ichiro and Ken Griffey Jr.
Exactly, and that's where I want to go next. We're gonna stick.
What about Livy Dunn next?
We're gonna bump Livy for a little bit.
She can be in my fair or foul. I got you.
We're gonna bump Livy for a moment. We'll get to her in fair or foul. Let's stick with this Hall of Fame thing. We'll do that next. That's Joe Fisher. I'm Patrick Harris. Will Ordner on the ones and twos. 1080 The Fan. We were all alive the last time the Indians won a pennant. That'd be 2016, baby. At Game 1, Game 2. First time I ever hated Mother Nature. She screwed us.
What?
2016 World Series? Rajai Davis hits that home run, dude. Momentum's on her side, and then the rain comes in.
Oh, you know, there were 6 other games.
Dude, Game 2 was so cold.
Was that in Cleveland or
Yeah,
Chicago? I guess it doesn't
Cleveland.
matter. I mean, it's November
So
in
cold
either of
in
those
Cleveland.
places. Yeah.
Game 1 was fun because we were all jacked up, but Game 2 was so cold, and it was raining. My mom's favorite story is Coco Crisp was in right field doing jumping jacks to stay warm.
God, what a
She
great,
was like, I love that guy. He's so cute.
what a great baseball name.
And I was like, I love him too, Mom, but it's more about Frankie. Get ahead!
Mom, shut up.
Shut up, Mom! Trevor Bauer's finger's bleeding again!
Coco Crisp, that's got to be a top 10 name in baseball history.
Dude, Coco
right?
Crisp and Milton Bradley, dude.
It
Got
was
cereal and board games in the outfield, dude. That's what I used to say in Cleveland.
it was originally Cavelli Crisp.
Oh, is
Might
that
be
his
a
real
better name.
What about Johnny Dickshot?
There are names from the back in the day that we literally can't say due to FCC rules.
Or Jack Glasscock? These are names. These are names. When I Google best names in baseball history, and it gives me the from sources across the web, the first name that pops up is Coco Crisp.
I mean, it's pretty good.
And Rusty Kuntz.
Rusty Cunts.
I'm going to say Kuntz just so that way I don't get fired.
Cunts.
What about Boof Bonzer?
Boof is pretty good.
Boof.
Real quickly, before we get into the real
Oil
story,
Can Boyd.
real quickly before we get into the real story, I just want to say all these people deserve to lose their votes. All these names of people that I'm going to tell you are people that I watched and thought were very good baseball players, but in no way, shape, or form are Hall of Famers. Ian Kinsler got 10 votes.
All right.
Russell Martin got 9. Brian McCann was 7. Troy Tulowitzki got 4. 3 people voted for Curtis Granderson. Your boy Adam Jones, who I love, got 3 votes.
Just got a job with the Orioles.
Carlos Gonzalez got 2 votes. Like, guys, what are we doing here?
I would love to know the guy that did not give Ichiro his vote.
And that's the next question.
I want to see his ballot.
What the hell is your problem? Like,
did I not call that a couple weeks ago?
You did, and I'm so mad that you're right. Because I just firmly believe when Mo got in 100%, this was going to open the door. It was going to say, okay, we can get past this curmudgeon BS, and we can say, look, Ichiro's a bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer. Albert Pujols, bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer. Clayton Kershaw, bona fide first ballot. Like, let's just start voting for guys because they deserve it. Miguel Cabrera, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't care about all these. Okay, so Kershaw was bad in the playoffs, but the dude's one of the greatest pitchers I ever seen in my life. Okay? Yankee Stadium used to chant, "Who's your daddy?" to Pedro Martinez, who might be the greatest pitcher of all time. Like, if you know they're in, they're in. And to not put Ichiro, I just thought he would be the number 2. And now that he's not the number 2, it terrifies me that nobody else will be 100%. Because it's like, now I found a reason. You know, it's almost like that one guy who was like, I don't think I'm going to vote for Mariano Rivera because I bet you will get 100%. And I'm going to be the guy to buck that trend. But decided to vote for him anyway. And then was like, damn it. I missed it. I won't forget next time. I mean, I'm not voting for Ichiro.
Literally, the next unanimous possible we have all time might be another Japanese player, and that's Shohei Ohtani in 25 years or whatever.
Derek Jeter's not a first ballot Hall of Famer or 100%.
Ken Griffey.
Right.
Ken Griffey.
Greg Maddux.
There are 5 people that didn't vote for Griffey.
Tony Gwynn.
I mean, let's say Shohei Ohtani's career plays out like it's been happening the last couple of years. Just doesn't miss many games because of injury, dominant at bat. Dominant hitter, even gets to pitch a little bit more and starts pitching again and finishes out his career just as good as it's been going. What excuse are you going to have to not vote him as a Hall of Famer?
I don't know.
What's your excuse for not voting for
Did it seem like he was ever committed to
all time?
Not sure he was ever committed to one position, and therefore I'm out.
But it's been something that's happened in the history of the voting. I think Ted Williams has like 85% of the vote.
And how is it Mariano freaking Rivera, a closer? That's the one who gets the 100.
And there's only one closer in the Hall of Fame of all time.
It's insane.
Before Mo, and it's Dennis Eckersley. And now you're like, I think it's because people are like, he won't be 100%. I think it's a real thing. I think it's a real thing that these idiots, these old curmudgeons, these boomers, don't want to give the satisfaction because Babe Ruth wasn't 100%, and Mickey Mantle wasn't 100%, and Bob Gibson wasn't 100%, Stan Musial wasn't 100%, so nobody can be 100%.
So do you think these writers get together at like a luncheon and it's like, all right, who's falling on the sword this year?
No, I think there's some dude at his house that's like, I'm going to be the guy.
My dad fought in World War II, okay?
Yeah, and damn it, Bob Feller fought next to my dad, and that guy didn't get 100%.
My dad was on Iwo Jima.
So I'll be damned if this damn Japanese player gets 100%. Who won the war? Am I right? Am I right?
USA,
USA, USA. I'm sure there's some loser like that.
It's their 15 seconds. That's exactly what it is. Some part of them enjoys it to the utmost degree. It's sick. It's the same people who hate watch. Like you're a Cougars fan, it's when you get to hate watch the Huskies. You're a Duck fan, it's when you get to hate watch the Huskies. It's a hate watch, but now you actually get to do a vote.
Jeez,
We're not on the same team.
You guys both hate the Huskies.
Different types of hate.
Same.
Those
but
are
different.
like Nepo babies hating each other.
Oh, okay.
Mine is a kid from the slums.
What did we ever do wrong to you? You beat us 4 years in a row.
Somebody said to me the other day, "You're a Wazoo fan," and I was like, "Honey, nobody chooses to be a Wazoo fan. We're alumni."
We earned this.
Yeah, nobody is like, you know what? I like their jerseys. I choose them.
Unless you played with them on like NCAA 07 or something like that.
Destroy.
I've always been a big fan of maroon.
So
Crimson.
So hopefully this isn't.
Will we ever find out who this is? Are they ever?
No, because they're
because their ballot was anonymous. They are not required. The Baseball Writers Association of America does not require you to make your ballot public.
That is why this
Coward.
keeps happening.
And that's why Larry Stone's going to give me a vote.
Because people would be properly shamed
Yep.
if they had to own up to it. It is ironic, as a someone who graduated with a big J journalism degree, that the people who whine and cry about the players not doing what they're supposed to do, who whine and cry about, the players not standing up for what they believe in, that they're the ones who are upset when it comes to accountability.
Patrick.
Sorry, we were
damn
talking
it.
trash about Will. Got busted.
It only hurt my feelings just a little.
Got busted. Do any of these names do it for you on the 2026 Hall of Fame ballot? Oh, God.
No, and no.
Hunter Pence. Nick Markakis. Shin-Soo Choo.
Oh,
Ryan Braun.
okay.
And the best chance of all of them, Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels a Hall of Famer?
I hesitated.
Yep, there you go. Great pitcher. I really enjoyed him.
Great
World Series
pitcher.
MVP. Loved Cole Hamels. Not a Hall of Famer.
But I hesitated. Yeah, sorry.
Those are your first ballot guys, along with Rick Porcello,
Oh my God.
Chris Davis with a C.
What? Like my Chris Davis?
Your Chris Davis is eligible for the Hall of Fame next year.
One of the greatest power hitting displays over a 3-year span that we've ever seen.
Next
All
to
right.
Barry Bonds, you got it.
Followed by the worst hitting slate over the next 3-4 years after that. Ever.
Howie Kendrick. You remember when the Nationals won the World Series and he had the car thing? Brr, brr, brr.
Yeah, make a plaque of that, I guess, and put it in the Hall of Fame.
Matt
Not him.
Kemp. Jason Kipnis.
Okay, what do we? Come on.
The question I ask you guys is: Carlos Beltran had 70% of the vote.
He better get in.
Andrew Jones had 66.2. Next year will be his 10th season.
Who, Beltran or
Andrew Jones. Manny Ramirez off the ballot.
Well, that's what you get.
No. Sorry. Manny's last year will be next year. Andrew Jones will be 9th year.
And what'd Manny get? Like 50 something?
34%.
Oh God, yeah,
it's trending the wrong way.
He's cooked. Well, I guess then
I think they're gonna put in Beltran next year, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe Andrew Jones gets in because there's lack of votes.
Yeah,
maybe Felix Hernandez.
Honestly, I would be cool with just those two next year.
Why Omar Vizquel's not in the Hall of Fame, I don't know.
Oh, he got like what 8% vote or something this year. It
was
was
17.
17. Okay, I knew it was low, but sheesh.
Do you guys like the trend of a bunch of 10th year guys getting in? Tim Rock Reigns, Edgar Martinez, Billy Wagner.
I don't mind it, but also I hope that those guys even realize, like,
of all the dudes that
why
got
you're
in their
getting
10th year, Edgar is clearly the best of all of them. Billy Wagner, great closer. Great closer. If you look at his stats, though, he's Hall of Fame worthy. I just don't know if I watched Billy Wagner and said that's a Hall of Famer.
I want to see.
He's like top 5 in a lot of stuff.
Is there like a list of all the players who got named on their 10th ballot?
I'm sure there is somewhere.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
In my recent history, I know Tim Rock Reigns, Edgar Martinez, and Billy Wagner. Those are the 3 I can think of.
Well, and Edgar was more about his position, right?
Right. Edgar was a debate on his position, but that didn't stop them from putting in David Ortiz.
Oh, he was so fast.
And he did steroids. I remember him in Minnesota. Big boy. Quick question. Quick fair foul.
Well, exactly. He was a big boy in Minnesota and Boston, so therefore the steroids were just masked.
Yeah. Not quite fair or foul, but can you name the top 4 vote getters in the history of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's Mo. Oh, vote getters, not percentage.
Percentage.
Oh, it's Mo, Derek Jeter, Ichiro, and Ken Griffey Jr.
Which 2 teams are those?
Yankees and Mariners.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and I know
Isn't
all
that
that because
crazy?
literally I had that in front of my face 10 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, look at that. 2 Yankees and 2 Mariners.
Isn't that wild?
That is pretty crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely insane. All right, when we come back, we'll do everybody's favorite fair or foul, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. But first, we'll throw it over to Will with sports.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, your Portland Trailblazers right now just getting underway in the second half. It's 66-63. Your Blazers are leading the Bucks. Right now, leading the way for the Blazers in point totals. You got DeAndre Ayton. He's dominating with 16 points. He just scored another bucket. He's now at 18. Anthony Simons has 14 in second place. You've got Denny Avdia with 9 and Shaden Sharp with 9 as well to lead the way for the Blazers. More sports, scores, and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Will Ortner at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Did you score a smart speaker over the holiday? Or is it foul?
Fastball tapped at the plate. It'll trickle down the third baseline. The Mariners are going to let it roll.
A knowledge test to see how well they know the big leagues.
Lenny Randle gets down on his hands and knees and blows on it like a curler, and it goes foul.
And what our distinguished hosts think about the stories that popped up around the big leagues.
But he got down on his hands and knees and literally blew the ball across the foul line.
This is Fair or Foul on the Hot Corner on 1080 The Fan.
All right, this is Fair or Foul. We do it every single Tuesday at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Without any further ado, we'll turn it over to our fantastic fill-in weatherman, William Ortner, state champion producing talent coach of the offensive line, right side of the offensive line at Hawkinson. Ortner.
Getting those hog mollies ready.
He's only right side guy. Left side, he's not ready for left side.
Oh, see, I'm only a left side.
He's not ready for left side. That's for the big boy O-line coaches. He's still building the right side.
You guys have
Maybe they get a lefty next year, and then it's Ortner's time to shine on that right side.
Wait, don't tell me you're serious. So you actually have a left side offensive line coach and a right side?
Yeah, he's the
Strong
right
side and weak side. Come on now.
Are you serious right
Strong
now?
side.
Every single football team has a left side.
Has a left
O-line
side and
coach
right side.
right
Come on,
side.
Joe.
No,
I don't
they
even watch
don't.
football, and I know
Yes, they
this.
do. Come on.
No, they don't. Since when?
Since never, idiot.
Thank you.
Yeah, what is your problem?
Okay.
We almost had you
A
for
left
a second.
side, right
Well, I was
side.
gonna say, I was like, a school.
Is there a middle guy that just does centers?
Well, hey, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
there's a GA.
I thought maybe high schools were doing this now.
If the tight end lines up on the right side, does that fall into you? But do you got to co-work with the left side guy in case he lines up on the left side?
Depends.
like, no wonder
if he does
Hawkinson
well,
won
then
one
I did it.
game.
If he
Depends.
does
Maybe
bad, then
Joe's
he's
got
not
some
my guy.
depends on right now.
We
know,
almost
maybe-
got him there for a
Maybe they were
second.
doing things different up there.
I could have let it go, but I couldn't. I had to bust in there.
I don't know. Maybe I
Oh,
thought this was
got
a
it.
new high school trend that was going on, where coach they got one extra O-line
No,
coach.
dude, the high school trend.
Hitting that Rizzler face.
Hitting that Riz, dude.
Speaking of trends, the Mariners suck. The Mariners don't make any major moves in the offseason. Fair
Fair.
foul. The worst offseason ever in their history.
Oh God. I mean, I don't have any for context outside of this one, but
I
mean,
did see that in the last 3 off seasons, they've spent $33 million.
last 3
Yeah.
combined,
Yeah.
including this year or the 3 before this.
The 2 before and this year.
Yeah. I mean, last year was pretty rough because
Mitch Garver.
because he had DePoto saying really stupid stuff too. That did not help anything. Dude, it's kind of hard to think of a more lackluster Mariners offseason than the one we're going
best
through.
rotation in baseball behind a team who spends $1 billion.
Yeah, it's really hard to think of another year
Go Tribe.
combined with You shouldn't be able to say that. How dare you?
I got the hat on and everything, dude. I'm back.
I'm going to say fair because expectations have been going up over the last couple years, and their spending and their will to make the team better seems to be going down. And those two things are not matching up. And I feel like for the first time in a long time, that Mariners fandom and their feelings towards this franchise and this front office and this team is their positivity is waning. They're slowly becoming the Portland Trailblazers of the MLB.
I will also say fair. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. But to save Schulte from pooping and throwing up again like he's already doing
at the same time,
I will say fair.
It's frustrating as a Mariners fan. The Dodgers, they get another big signing. Obviously, they go in and just bolster up their starting pitching staff. Fair or foul, another easy march to the championship.
I'll start with this one. I firmly believe this. I said this last year, and it's not that I didn't think that they would win. It's that I still firmly believe that baseball is baseball, and you still have to play it, and pitchers don't always have their game on. Even, I'm looking at this list of, Hall of Fame percentage votes for people, and I've seen Mariano Rivera blow a postseason save, okay? I've seen Randy Johnson get hit. I've seen Maddox lose it. So I will always lean on the side that baseball is baseball. So I will say foul for that matter. I do think they will win the title, but I don't think it will be a cakewalk. As long as they don't play the Yankees and the 5th inning doesn't happen, I think it will be it'll still be a challenge. They'll still have to earn it.
Cakewalk for the Dodgers?
Yeah.
I'm going to say fair. This is just, they have all the confidence in the world. They seemingly got better. They kept the majority of their offensive pieces. I mean, I don't know if anybody from their was it Teoscar's coming back?
Teoscar's back.
And then obviously you have your 3 stalwarts. I mean,
I think the newest person to that is Michael Conforto, who's going to play right.
And he's probably going to hit 20 bombs and 80 RBIs, batting like 230 or something like that, which is pretty damn good in Michael Conforto terms.
Yeah.
I have no reason to believe that this team is going to get challenged throughout the year.
And the NL West looks pretty good.
Yeah, but dude, you want to talk about who's having a rough offseason is the Padres.
I thought your fair foul was going to be like, Mariners are having a worse offseason than anybody else in baseball. It's going to be like, foul. The answer's the Padres.
I mean, you got Tommy Edman coming back now.
Tommy Taters.
You get him for a full season. Yeah.
Mookie's going to play second.
I have no reason to believe that this team will not just run through the league yet again.
For third, I've got, look, the Mets went out and got Soto. There's a new big bad bully in New York. Fair or foul. The Mets are going to be the preferred destination, not the Yankees in New York.
Ooh, it's interesting you say that.
Especially with the ownership.
Preferred destination? I think the answer might be fair. I think the Mets have a little, what do we say? Riz?
They got some money.
They got some Riz to them right now. But Joe and I said this. We did Dirt and Sprague during the holidays, and Joe and I talked about this, and I'm sure we'll bring this up when the season gets ready to go again. The Yankees, in my opinion, are better right now than they were last year. And that's without Juan Soto.
Yeah.
So, do I think people would be more inclined to be at the Mets than the Yankees right now? I think that answer is yes. Do I think the Mets are better than the Yankees? That I don't know. And I would probably lean towards no.
I would say that...
Sexy? Yeah, sexy.
I would say that players probably feel like it would be better to go to the Mets right now because Cohen is so desperate to make a World Series winner out of that team.
It sounds like he'll pay everybody not named Pete Alonso.
Yeah, fair point. He might even take Ryan Mountcastle right from my Orioles hands.
Mountcastle, Alonso, potato.
Yeah, honestly, if you're asking me, I'd rather have Alonso if I'm speaking about my Orioles. But
Joe, I think if you're speaking about all 30 teams, yeah, we all want Pete Alonso over Mountcastle.
Mountcastle's solid, all right? He's just not going to...
How dare you?
He's not going to just hit 30 bombs probably ever again in his career. I hope he does, though, for the sake, because I like Ryan Mountcastle. Anyways, yeah, I think players want to go to the Mets because they know that they're going to get a huge paycheck.
I think it's sexier.
But again, the Yankees, like we were like, oh no, poor Yankees. They didn't get Juan Soto. I guess they can't outspend anybody anymore. And then they go and make trades, and they signed whoever. Who did they sign this offseason? Because I know some of them were trades.
I think last year there was a glaring issue.
Max Fried was a sign.
Yes. Paul Goldschmidt
was
is a sign. I think there was a lot of aspects looking at the Yankees last year that I was like, this team is Aaron Judge, and there's no leadership, and a lot of old dudes, but they kind of cleaned all that up. Paul Goldschmidt is an old guy, but I'd have him 10 times over Anthony Rizzo. And yeah, you lose Juan Soto, but Max Fried is huge. Like, I think the Yankees are a better team now.
Gosh, yeah, Devin Williams. I forgot about that. Max Fried. Paul Goldschmidt. Again, I'm nervous.
That's a leader.
Yeah, but I'm nervous as hell. That's going to turn into another Josh Donaldson.
But Josh Donaldson is a bag.
But again, Paul Goldschmidt is 37 years old.
Yeah, but he's not a bag, so.
Well, not yet. Anyways. Foul.
Joe digresses.
Fair enough. For the last fair or foul. Of course, you have to ask it. Should Major League Baseball have a salary cap?
Oh, man.
Oh, I saw the Orioles owner bitching and moaning about this. He owns his team for 1 year, and he's
Just
like,
bought it.
I do not want to spend money.
He's like, by the way.
Wait, hold on
Now
a
I
second.
understand why Baltimore hasn't won a World Series since the 80s.
Yeah, he. I saw that he came out and said that, and that there was a. I think that there should be a salary cap and a salary floor. I mean, you got to make teams spend. Salary cap, I instinctively say yes, but also there's part of me that does feel like if your team wants to spend that much on a player, who's to tell them no, they can't do that? No, they can't spend that much money. I think in other sports it works, but I don't know. It's tough, but I feel like you also just have some franchises that will never be able to keep up with some other ones.
Dodgers were not the number one payroll last year and won a World Series. Dodgers are now the number one payroll this year. So keep that in mind. The number one does not always win the World Series. The Cleveland Guardians were a couple outs and maybe a game or two swing away from going to the World Series. They do not spend money at all. Baseball is still baseball. My opinion, floor for sure. Floor without a doubt. Without a doubt a floor, and I think a floor can happen. When it comes to a salary cap, I will never try to root for it because the reality is the reality. It is never, and I repeat, never going to happen. There is no way. Baseball could go on strike for years, and it will never happen. The players have already got it. They've already won it. They will never let it go.
Yeah.
If this were the NFL, the NBA, NHL, MLS, EPL, like the EPL now has financial fair play where you can't spend more money than the revenue you bring in to curb what the Dodgers are doing right now. But baseball's lost it, and they will never, ever, ever give it up. And therefore, it's not worth my time, and I'll say foul.
MLB
Do I want it? Yeah, of course. Of course. You're an idiot if you don't think that's a good idea. But it's never going to happen. Not worth my time to think.
MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark said back in
Never gonna
2013, quote, "We're never going to agree to a cap."
Never.
End quote.
They never will. And
Never.
they'll hold out as long as possible. They'll hold out for a decade. Baseball, they will kill baseball before they have a salary cap. They will.
We'd rather
It's
not
too much
get
money.
paid.
Alex Rodriguez
Yeah.
got two $250 million contracts. They will never give it
That's one of the Pandora's box. That
Never give
will
it up.
Never be able to get closed.
Never give it up.
Yeah.
Once Alex Rodriguez got 250, it's over.
Again, I think that the
Twice.
Orioles owner made some news by saying that this week, but that is also a new owner that
Going
is
like, crap.
Like, yeah, I'm never going to spend that, never going to be able to spend that to keep up with these teams. Maybe, hey, other 29 owners, I got this crazy idea. Salary cap? No.
All right, that is fair or foul.
Trust us, we've tried. It's not going to happen, Dave. Just go ahead and sit down.
That is fair or foul. I mean, John Means could be worth $500 million. You never know. That is fair or
That'd be
foul.
cool.
We do it every single Tuesday at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Thank you, Will, for filling on that. When we come back, we'll wrap this bad boy up and give Joe his love on some Livy Dunn. Hot Corner, 10 The Fan.
The
nobody's listening anyway.
All right, we'll be back next week with some more baseball action for you. But apparently, we'll finish up with this. Usually I like to goof off, but Joe was very, very upset that we couldn't get Livy Dunn into this situation. There is a baseball card that features a patch of Paul Skeens' jersey and his signature. It is a 1-of-1 rookie card that an 11-year-old in L.A. got.
Good for that young chap.
And they offered him something to get it back. Now I'm trying to figure out where that is.
Oh, they offered him
30 years worth of season tickets behind home plate, a meet and greet with Skeens, and 2 Paul Skeens signed jerseys. Skeens' girlfriend, LSU gymnast and influencer, and noted hot, Livy Dunn, also offered the card's owner the opportunity to take in a game with her in a luxury suite at the ballpark during one of Skeens' starts.
He's going to have to flip it into the waistband for that entire time.
I mean, can the 11-year-old, can he perform?
Well, no. And also, I am not taking that deal. I am saying I want an indecent proposal when I turn 18. And that one game in a suite with Livy? No. When I'm 18, one night with Livy. All right? Dude, the whole Woody Harrelson, Robert Redford, Demi Moore movie there.
I have
Paul, she's mine for the night.
I have a buddy who said, I wouldn't take that deal if I lived in Pittsburgh and was a Pirates fan.
Well, I do find...
he goes, you really want to go to 81 Pirates games and sit behind home plate with that trash organization? And he's a Tampa Bay Rays fan from Tampa.
Well, it's pretty funny that Bob Nutting, the owner of the Pirates, seemingly gave...
Wonderful name in relation to this story.
Also was willing to give a 11-year-old more than he would give any player of that franchise, too.
Yeah, what's the value
All the
of
players are like
30 years of season tickets behind home plate?
I think Buck and Suk, they were talking about this earlier today, and they're like, everything they were giving him, it actually like equated out to like $600,000 or something.
Oh, it's not that expensive.
No, but still, when you hear like, we'll give you season tickets for 30 years, the players are like, my salary though, they're like, shut up, we want this card.
But my wife has to sit in right field behind, Bobby Joe.
Yeah.
Do you think you could go to them and counter with, like, let's say, I know
one night with Livy Dunn?
I know he lives in LA, but let's say the kid lives in Houston, okay? Lives in Houston, diehard Astros fan. Could you say...
Yeah, what a dumb offer. Kid lives on the other side of the country.
Yeah,
like, we'll give you tickets to Pirates. Like,
what are you going to do, sell them every day on StubHub?
Yeah, it's like, I know it's going to be summertime, but, I live in L.A.
Yeah. Could you say, you know what? How about 30 years of Astros season tickets behind home plate?
They just call up
and can I get a Josh Hader and a Alex Bregman signed jersey?
That'd be so great if he's like, well, can you get me 30 years of Dodgers games?
And
click.
And can I get a in the booth with Kate Upton? Does that count? See, I would have countered with my hometown.
Well, you also got to remember, like, this kid's 11. Are we even sure they're like past the point of like when they're flirting with a girl, it's them shoving the girl's head in sand?
Like I said, he's going to have to flip it into the waistband for that entire time he's in the suite with Livy Dunn.
I will have the suite with Livy Dunn in 20 years.
I don't know that.
I'd like to
Livy
wait
Dunn.
20 years.
Hey, Livy,
remember
me.
Paul Skeens becomes like a meth head and she leaves him and you've become like some tech bro and you're like, hey, 50-year-old Livy Dunn.
You're like, oh, wow,
I'm 31. You ready?
You grew up.
You ready to have the time of your life, baby?
Dude, she's so hot.
Look at Joe. Joe can't even handle himself.
Dude, she's
not that hot, Joe.
She is.
Oh, God.
And then you have to remember the fact that she's a gymnast.
You're going to make me do this.
Dude, I'm telling you.
You saying you forgot what Livy Dunn looks like?
Sure, dude.
Her Viore commercials pop up every other ad.
I don't know what that is, man.
They're pants.
Their pants.
Yeah, she's all right.
She's like on a beach.
And then what's gosh, I'm spacing the other kid who throws a nasty slider for the Pirates. Oh my God. He also went to LSU.
That Ortiz kid is in Cleveland now.
It's killing me. No. And of course, if I type a Pirates pitcher, it's going to give me Paul Skeens every time. Jared Jones.
Oh, yeah.
He also went to LSU, and he also has an absolute smoke show of a girlfriend too.
Is it coincidentally? Is it Divvy Lunn?
No, it is not. But I remember I looked her up as well, and I was like, dude, my God.
Look, I know
being an LSU pitcher at LSU is very a fruitful endeavor.
The South, man.
I know I'm gonna take heat for this. Like Livy Dunn's hot, but like she looks
Oh, my
like every
God.
other hot.
Okay. And forgive me, he went to Texas. He played for the Texas Longhorns.
So none of this even matters, does it?
No. But she is hot too. I will say that.
What do you think that card goes for? So if the package was
probably like
$600K,
a mil.
you think it's a mil?
Probably. And it's gonna
You
go
sell now because what if Paul Skeens isn't very good? What if he blows his arm out next year and doesn't have the velocity and Livy Dunn leaves him?
Yeah,
you sell that now.
Yeah, it's probably the smart move.